Hello everyone! Welcome to our virtual celebration program of World Teachers Day, organized by Global People Daily News, GPDN, an independent international news media. I'm the MC today, Li Xuecai. No matter where we are in the world, chances are that we've had a teacher that we still remember for the positive impact they made in our life. Someone who helped us finally grasp a challenging concept or experience a learning moment that defined our classroom experience. Every year on October 5th, we celebrate World Teachers Day. It is a time to remember those special educators who supported us when we were students and show gratitude to those who inspired us in the classroom. World Teachers Day is an annual celebration across the globe. Why is this day so special and important? Let's start with a bit of background. In 1966, the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organizations, or UNESCO, passed the ILO UNESCO recommendation concerning the status of the teachers. World Teachers Day is celebrated since then every year on October 5th. This day is observed to recognize the rights and responsibilities of teachers and to focus on appreciating, assessing, and improving the educators in the world. This is an opportunity to reflect on the role that the educators have played in our life. GPDN is honored to celebrate World Teachers Day through this virtual event. We have invited educators, students, and parents from all over the world to share their stories with us. Our first guest speaker is Talia Bates, a middle school English teacher who has been living in Taiwan for almost 10 years now. Let's hear her sharing.
Hello everyone, my name is Talia Bates. I live in Yilan County. I've been living in Taiwan for a total of about 10 years now. I'm a public middle school teacher and I teach English as a second language. Hello everyone, nice to meet you.
Great, so nice to have you here, Talia. So I would like to hear your experience about teaching. So let's start with some questions that I would like you to tell and share with our audience. So first, the teaching became online during the pandemic. How did you make any adjustments or preparations to your teaching?
Our school was prepared several months before we actually had to teach online. We had to get our lesson plans for online teaching ready. And the teachers all had to go to meetings to educate us on how to use the software and how the school was going to have to change. And they said if it did have to change, it was going to be immediate. So I had to have everything ready and be prepared for it. So we didn't actually have to go online till months and months later because Taiwan did such a good job at controlling the pandemic. So when it finally happened, it did happen quickly and it was a smooth transition because we had that long time to prepare and adjust and accept it. Actually teaching online, you had to have everything prepared ahead of time. In the classroom, you can be more spontaneous. You can remember something and add it to the lesson. In online teaching, you can't do that. You have to have everything A, B, C ready to go because it needs to be there to present to the students. So that was the only challenge, making sure that your lesson was focused. They also shortened the time of the classroom to protect the students' eyes from all the screens every day. So you really had to be succinct in what you needed them to learn so that they could have what they needed by the end of the teaching period. That was the biggest change going into online teaching from the classroom.
So the connection between teachers and students also changed after the pandemic, these online courses. How do you deal with the questions or conflicts and other issues raised by students in online class?
I started getting a lot of Facebook messages from students after we moved to online teaching. And that was the best way for me. I don't know if teachers had other ways, but if a student had a question about their assignment, they would take a picture of what they've already done and show it to me, and I would give them my feedback. Okay, you need to change this, you need to add this. Think about, the tense that you're using here versus the situation that you're talking about. And we were able to go back and forth. Sometimes it was only one time they sent me the message, I answered the question, it was fine. But some students, it was back and forth multiple times. And actually, I think our communication increased because the students, they would write it out in English, but in the classroom, I think they're afraid to say English. So I got more interaction from students in the online setting than I did when we were in the face-to-face setting. In the classroom, I think the students relied mainly on my Taiwanese co-teacher for support. But in the online setting, they were able to focus and write it out, their ideas to me, and communicate with me directly. So it was actually pretty good. And I think it was less pressure for the student because the other students also couldn't see if they made a mistake or not, because they were sending it directly to me and it wasn't on their desk for anyone to look over,
So lots of people, they're very angry about the masks that they're forced to wear every day. But how can we use love to foster peace during the pandemic?
As an American, seeing what's going on in my home country, it really saddens my heart to see all the anger that is coming out over, wearing the mask. And I'm not someone who can pretend to easily solve this problem. But when I traveled to America recently, I just faced it with patience. I didn't even discuss masks with anyone. And if I saw someone wearing a mask, I just made sure I was protected. I made sure my mask was on. I made sure my eye protection was on. But for this, I would say the people have to make their own decision for themselves, and we can't force them. If you try to force someone, that is when those conflicts arise. If someone who doesn't wear a mask tries to tell someone who does to do the opposite, or the other way around, if someone who doesn't like masks tries to tell someone to take the mask off, that everybody needs to keep patience in their heart. And while I don't like the opinions some people have, I don't agree. I won't say I don't like, I'll say I don't agree with some of the opinions that people have about not wearing masks. I have people in my family that I love, and they have an opposing viewpoint, but I won't let that stop me from loving them. Like you do your life the way you are going to live your life. You know the risk you are taking, or maybe I hope you understand the risk you are taking. There's misinformation out there, but you are the one who is going to have to deal with that, the outcome of your choices. I will not take on the outcome of your choices for you. And so if people can be patient with peace, then maybe the love can come back. That is my hope. Just keep patience.
All right. So Talia, I would like to hear your personal experience of teaching. What inspires you the most in teaching? And do you have any personal stories you would like to share with us? Any touching stories?
I'll start with what inspired me to teach. When I first entered university, I was actually a science major for my freshman and sophomore year. But in my junior year, I realized that I did not want to go into science as a career, even though it was interesting to me as a hobby. I really like learning about things and how things work. I realized I did not want to go into that as a career. My guidance counselor was worried that I was going to drop out. And she asked me to talk about, the things that I'm doing that really excited me. And I told her about how I was living in on-campus housing at my university. They had family housing at that time at Kent State University. Most of the people who lived in on-campus family housing, housing for students who had children, they were international students who were adults coming to the school for their doctorate, master's degrees, and they had young children. And a lot of the wives would be enrolled in the English programs at the school while their husbands were studying their their degrees. I really enjoyed helping them with their homework, helping them understand why this, when the meaning is this, but the word is this, it doesn't make sense, and helping them to make it make sense. And they said to me, they were like, Talia, we wish you were our teacher. Our teacher is not clear. We don't know what they're talking about, but when you tell us, we can understand. I really like the feeling that I got knowing that I was helping them. And that is when my guidance counselor suggested that I focus more on going into the teaching career and pointing me towards that. And that is what motivated me, that desire to help people, to have that moment to say, oh, it makes sense now. Every time, still, when I have a student and they can't get something, but then things click and I see that light in their eye, like, oh wait, that is the moment I constantly live for.
Thank Talia for sharing her passion in teaching. And it's fun to know that during the online teaching, her students actually feel more free to contact her personally because of less public judgments if they make mistakes. And as an American living in Taiwan for a long time, the way Talia solves cultural conflicts is to give respect to each individual. People can be different from you, but you can still love them. What a messenger of peace.
I'm grateful to teachers who can create welcoming spaces where mistakes and growth are encouraged. Teachers have been a large part of my life, and I thank them for being there to guide me through the learning process.
Our next speaker is Miss Preeti Phutela, the headmistress of Venkateshwar Global School in Delhi, India. The floor is yours, Miss Phutela.
I myself have talked about it a number of times. There has been no learning gap. The entire world came to a standstill, and it was like everything stopped. Everybody was in pandemic, everybody was at home. It would not be wrong to say at one point of time one got a big holiday. They were all little relaxed for some time when it went out of proportions, and then felt that yes, not such a big holiday was required. But then the teachers never got a holiday. Their routine never changed. They're getting up at 5 in the morning, doing their household chores, preparing their lessons for their children, taking their classes. It was the same for them, yes. The routine of going out of their homes for their work was just that changed. But otherwise, there was no difference for them. That is why I am saying again that there were no learning gaps at all. When there were no learning gaps at all, hats off to the teacher, to the teachers, to the educators community who tirelessly, who were just confined to their books, to their chalk and duster and board, were now so much techno-savvy. Once upon a time, for any little IT thing, they used to just turn up to the IT department. Now they were in themselves the IT people, the people who could be asked for anything. So, yes, the teachers, I must say, that are continuously proving that yes, they are the lifelong learners. Whatever new policies come, whatever new ways come, they have been able to prove that yes, they are short of no resources. They have built up their resources by and by. So now, similarly, now when we are going back to our teaching, and it is like all the children are not comfortable coming to school, all the parents are not comfortable sending their children to school. The fear of the third wave still lingers on, that yes, the parents are scared. So let me give you my own example. The other day I was a little unwell, so I had thought that I will go a little late to my school, which has now partially opened for the children. Like it is few who are coming, we are into hybrid teaching. Few study from home and few are coming to school. So that day, though, I announced to children that children, I will be taking an offline class today, right? So nobody to come to school. So I got to know by my co-teacher that one of the students is present. When I came to know that one of the students is present, these children coming to school during this time, with so many consent from the parents and yes, making up their mind, they wanted to discuss something with their teacher personally. I went to school just before the class. I wanted to meet him in person. So this is one example that I'm quoting what I did myself recently. So similarly, there are innumerous examples from innumerous teachers which go unsaid. So it is salute to all the teaching fraternity, my colleagues on this World's Teachers' Day. Happy Teachers' Day. Continue doing your bit as you have done throughout the pandemic and will be doing in future, whatever may come. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thanks, Ms. Phutela, for sharing this teaching in your school during the pandemic. Wonderful to hear that you and your teachers have achieved that there are no learning gaps for your students. During the pandemic, according to your words, educators have become IT people. We all have deep appreciation for teachers who are lifelong learners and keep building up their resources.
Hello, my name is Mackenzie, and I love the teachers here because they help me learn a lot about stuff.
Next, I would like to invite Rebecca, a special education teacher in a high school in Taiwan, to share her stories with us.
Hello everyone, my name is Rebecca, and I work as a special education teacher in a high school in Taiwan. The birthday of the most sacred teacher, Confucius, is celebrated annually on September 28th, as is Taiwan's Teachers' Day. Confucius educated students indifferently over 3,000 years ago and has always served as a role model for future generations of educators. I've always believed that those who guide kids should be able to direct, act, and have fun. Special education teachers, in particular, must be caring, willing to appreciate kids, and possess strong emotional control. I once decorated the classroom to make it feel like home, hoping that kids would learn in an atmosphere of love, respect, and mutual help. As a result, I took the first in the entire school's classroom decoration match. A wild teacher leads crazy kids, one of my co-workers once joked. I feel like I was playing a game of whack-a-mole every day when I first started teaching. Students were in a variety of situations, hence I have to work hard to deal with them. Their emotions must be reminded repeatedly to keep their hearts as calm as possible in order to wisely assist students in solving problems. Otherwise, they will be unhappy in class, learning will be ineffective, and the entire class's learning movement suffer. Teacher, we are great! In the health exercises, we came in third place. Teacher, we've done it again! We've created a miracle for special education classes. Stay with the kids during their seemingly simple activities, such as singing school songs or performing health exercises. These results took a month of school practice, but I was very pleased with their sincerity, happiness, growth, and self-confidence. I taught the kids how to run a business by selling homemade baked goods at the school's internship shop, where they learned to collaborate and take responsibility. This way, they can save money for their graduation trip while also gaining valuable work experience. Earning their own money for the graduation trip makes more sense for them. I also broke up the school graduation trip traditional by allowing them to join the trip with the regular students together. Because the itinerary includes a walk along the beach, I first discussed the environmental issue of cleaning the beach with the kids. I was moved to tears when I saw them sweating profusely, carrying 3 garbage bags, and joyfully reporting the results of their good deeds for the earth. For the class sand sculpture game, I took the kids to make a turtle shape out of sand. After everyone worked together to complete a large tortoise, I drew a beautiful arc laugh for the tortoise. I also wish that their joy would last forever. Although our movements are as slow as a tortoise, we learn the spirit of the tortoise from the tortoise, and here we will never give up until we reach the final goal, explained the class leader. The judges were so moved that they gave the award a thumbs up. The game has been announced. The students came in first place in the school's sand sculpture game. They are overjoyed. In addition, the team assistant said to me, "Your class is fantastic. They clean the beach by the sea, create sand sculptures, and dance at parties. Everyone can see their efforts." Allowing kids to entertain and teach is the focus of education that I really want to achieve. So I broke the routine once more and renamed the Teacher Appreciation Banquet to Thank You Dinner to provide opportunities for kids to learn to be grateful for everyone who has helped them. During the banquet, I carefully planned an activity for the kids to kneel down and feel their parents. Thank the parents for their commitment to their child development. I was moved as I saw them scooping snacks for their parents and carrying in each other's arms. One parent even drew their child from the crowd and hugged me. "Thank you so much, teacher. You were a great teacher." My coworkers were moved to see me and complimented me. A student had autism as well as an emotional disorder, and his family was unsupportive. He was drowsy every day when he arrived at school, and he refused to participate in any of the school's homework or activities. He was in an unusually good mood when questioned, and he outperformed himself. He even ran into a wall or pillar. I noticed he liked being praised as a handsome guy. So I talked to him and reminded him that if he was praised as a handsome guy, his head would swell up like a pig's head, so he couldn't be a handsome guy. It didn't take long for him to kick the bad habit. He actually said to me once, "You are cool. I'm sorry I didn't notice your cleverness sooner. You were successful in persuading me." Another girl was dissatisfied with the daily practice of typing homework. The students erupted, smashing tables and chairs and yelling bad words. Instead of giving up, I guided her so that she would be willing to complete training, learn her home skills, and then obtain a license. She went to work after graduation, was chosen as the spokesperson for the 7-Eleven charity event, and was interviewed by the media. She was the first student to come back to see me and wrote me a letter, thanked me for not giving up on her at the time, which enabled her to get to where she is today. I'm overjoyed for her to see how far she's come. This year, I will be teaching freshmen. Every day, a child has epileptic I first told his classmates about his situation so that we could all help him. When he has an outbreak, the class activates the cooperation mechanism. Someone informs the teacher, someone helps him support himself, someone moves the tables and the chairs, and someone spreads a cushion on the ground. After a major outbreak, the child was rushed to the hospital 2 days ago for treatment. His health was also a source of concern among the students. This is a very good life lesson. The kid has discovered that it is more blessed to give than to receive. I will be eternally grateful to these amazing angels. I value the relationships that teachers and students have with kids and help them learn the principles of proper behavior, which range from caring for oneself, one's parents, and others to caring for the environment. I would be surprised and moved if the kids mature a little. I hope they grow up in a positive, confident environment where they can create extraordinary life value for themselves. Thank you so much.
Rebecca shares the spirit of the great Chinese educator Confucius, which is to provide education for all learners without discrimination. And she shares with us how she carries out this spirit in her teaching. I was very touched to hear that how she guides her students with patience, trust, and love. For example, one of her stories of breaking the school rule and taking her students to a graduation trip together with the regular students. As a teacher of special education students, confronting daily different challenges, she remains believing in her students. What a fortune to be taught by such a great educator.
People should appreciate teachers more because they cultivate people to be the good of society.
Now let's hear words of gratitude for teachers from Ting Runner, a parent in Florida, USA.
Hello, my name is Ting and I'm a parent in Florida. First, I would like to begin by saying how grateful we are to all the teachers. They pour so much of their love and hard work and dedication into teaching our kids a curriculum. Not only that, but they also teach them personal responsibility and good character. Also, at the beginning and also during the pandemic, they had to be brave in facing the unknowns from not only their students, but also an uncertain future. So we owe a lot to all the teachers. Also, the next thing I would like to say is I noticed there was a positive from the pandemic. Our kids got to be much closer with their classmates. When they went back to school, they were only allowed to play with the kids in their own class, so they grew much closer, and I believe this bond will last for a very long time. Thank you.
Ting shows a parent's appreciation for teachers' bravery during the pandemic and of the positive side of the pandemic, which is to bring a closer connection between the classmates after the lockdowns.
I think teachers are important because they help us learn new things and they help us grow.
Now let's welcome our next guest speaker, Evelyn Kortekas, a primary school teacher from the Netherlands.
My name is Evelyn Kortekas and I'm a primary school teacher currently teaching 4 and 5-year-olds at an inner city school in The Hague, the Netherlands. The children I teach are from immigrant families living in the area, so many of them are unfamiliar with the Dutch language when they enter primary school. The daily challenge for me as a teacher is to raise their level of understanding and speaking Dutch to a level by which they can successfully start their school career. In the Netherlands, the primary schools were closed between March and June 2020 and between December 2020 and February 2021. In the second period, I was actively involved in online teaching. The adjustments we made for online teaching were that we split up the group in smaller groups of 5 children that were taught an online class of 15 minutes daily through Teams. In 1 hour, we had contact with the whole group, keeping in mind all the time that we were teaching young children that have a limited attention span and are in no way inclined to sit still and follow an online class. The children were often in front of the camera with one of their parents. We gave them homework in the form of making drawings, taking pictures or other assignments that were later discussed in the Teams chat function. Seeing them on camera with their parents gave us a clear insight in the development of children that were supported by their families in learning Dutch and those that were less supported. It gave us the opportunity to encourage parents to learn Dutch together with their children in a different way. It was also helpful for my skills as a teacher, as I had to give the same class several times. The closing of schools was especially harmful for young children that do not have Dutch as their first language and have parents that also do not have a command of the Dutch language. The interaction they had with the teachers and classmates was very limited. Besides interacting with the teacher, young children learn most from the social interaction with each other, and language is picked up by interacting with each other. We are still seeing on a daily basis the harmful effects of the social isolation of children due to the lockdowns in the form of developmental and language disorders. Fortunately, young children are flexible and resilient, and alienation or distance is simply out of the question. Hugs and compliments are generously given all day. In the classroom, we are continuously working on a peaceful coexistence, as it is the main condition for learning. For many young children, the first grade of primary school is the first time that they come into contact with being part of a group, and it's where they start to learn to play, work, and learn together. Teachers are role models for promoting a peaceful learning environment. Speaking of role models, I would like to make a special request to all the men considering a career in teaching. It is very important that young pupils encounter role models of both sexes at primary school. In the Netherlands, the ratio between male and female teachers at primary school level is unbalanced. Rumors about low wages and work pressure have not contributed to the situation. But being a professional primary school teacher, I know how rewarding and challenging working with young children can be. So I would like to especially invite male teachers to consider teaching at primary school level and see for themselves. So to all teachers worldwide, keep up the good work in building a future for the world's children. Happy Teachers' Day.
Thank you, Evelyn, for sharing the insight of teaching kids from immigrant families to speak Dutch, and of the kids' problem in the languages and in integrating into the Dutch society. Evelyn also calls upon the need of having more male teachers in the school to provide kids the role models in both genders. I give my full respect to Evelyn. She's a great teacher with a big heart and tremendous love.
Hello, my name is Vanessa, and I'm in 3rd grade, and I like all the teachers and staff and principals who work here, and they help me learn a lot of stuff.
It's Sunday, November 18, 2018. Girls are in the backyard, and Mackenzie's been practicing riding the bike without training. Look at you go! Go, Mick, go! Good job! Look at you! She has been really determined. Look at her. What a great job.
Gratitude to our wonderful guest speakers today. And special thanks to all teachers across the globe on World Teachers' Day today for your selfless love and dedication for your students. As a role model of the society, you transcend the barriers of disabilities, races, languages, cultures, ages, religions, sexual orientations, socioeconomic status, and nationalities, so that every student experiences that he or she was born equal, is respected and valued, and has a right to education, which is one of the most important human birthrights. Our program has come to an end now. Thank you for watching GPDN virtual event today. Please continue following our YouTube channel. Before ending the celebration, we have prepared a little extra gift for all of you. It's a special video called Antiviral Combat. Here you go.
Antiviral Combat. Begin!
One day, Mary goes to the market to buy groceries and chatted with one of the vendors. The vendor accidentally coughs a little in front of her. She thinks it's no big deal and plans to wash her hands as soon as she gets home. As she steps into her house, the phone rings. She picks up the phone immediately and forgets to wash her hands. 5 days later.
I'm not feeling well these 2 days. My nose is stuffy and I have a sore throat. Is it possible that I've contracted COVID?
It's hard for me to enter anyone's body these days since everybody is wearing a mask and washing their hands frequently. But now I'm going to attack the villagers and the lungs.
There seem to be fewer people in the Lung village recently.
I've seen red people sneaking around.
Hey, who are you?
Me? I don't need to tell you, cause I'm gonna kill you Lung villagers right now!
It's the coronavirus! What should we do? Help!
Lung villagers, I'll get help right away.
I am COVID-19. Prepare to die.
General, the Lung village has been attacked. We need backup. This is General T-Cell. Gather up.
Anybody B-cells, I give you 3 days to come up with a new weapon and be ready to fight back. B-cells, take my orders and assemble. Please reply here.
Here.
If you're willing to join the Special Forces, please say join.
We join.
None of the immune cells in the group cooperated. They rushed out to fight without working together, causing an excessive immune reaction instead. Mary has become even sicker these days. She gets a PCR test and is confirmed positive.
No way. My nightmare came true. Now I have a fever. And I can't taste anything. My chest feels tight. Oh no, I feel you got the coronavirus. This sucks.
Oh no, Mary is in a bad mood. Her immune system is weak and everyone is fighting aimlessly. Oh, we antibody B cells aren't effective enough.
Come on, Mary! Cheer up! Don't be sad! Everyone, please come together to boost Mary's energy!
Recently, I'm feeling more uncomfortable and sicker. I have to cheer myself up. I can't go on like this.
After Mary adjusted herself, what happened to the chaotic immunity battle?
Great! Everyone has united to fight against COVID-19. We're doing well here too. Everyone is working hard and producing many new antibodies. With these new weapons to fight the coronavirus, I'm not afraid anymore.
I was about to win. That's such a pity. How did they become so powerful? Oh no, I have to leave Mary. Bye.
Learning how to balance her body and mind, Mary's immune system was able to defeat the coronavirus. She recovers back to health in just a few days.
After battling this virus, I realized the importance of balance between our body, mind, and spirit. Although the virus is terrible, as long as we have a strong immune system, we will be able to protect ourselves and others. Have you taken measures to prevent the pandemic?
The coronavirus has changed the life of all human beings in the entire world. Its mutation speed is quite fast. We don't need to panic, but we must protect ourselves internally and externally to strengthen the immunity of our body, mind, and spirit. Come on, let's remind each other to follow the guidelines of the 3 don'ts, 5 do's, and 6 tips.
The 3 don'ts. Don't be anxious, don't worry, and don't lose your temper. 5 do's are: wash your hands more often, drink more warm water, do more exercises, be happy, and be more careful. The other 6 tips are: wash your hands frequently, wear face masks, practice social distancing, avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Increase your lung capacity through breathing exercises and maintain a positive mindset.
In our fight against the pandemic, we should uphold our conscience and honesty. Let's work together. Hopefully the pandemic will be over soon so that we can return to our normal life.
Happy World Teachers Day, everyone. Thank you for watching our program. Goodbye.